Hey guys, in this video we're going to be looking at the Eachine Tiny QX80, and this is another micro brush quadcopter like the QX90, but it's a little bit different form factor. And so let me get some stuff out of the box and I'll show you what's going on. This is the kit version, so it's not assembled. That's why it's in a really small box. Okay, so here's everything you get in the box. Get your F3 brushed flight controller. This is exactly the same one that's in the Tiny QX90, and also you can buy this separately as well. I reviewed this a few weeks ago, and it's the same one. Get two sets of propellers, and this looks like these are the Ladybird propellers, or perhaps a clone of the Walkera Ladybird propellers. They look pretty close. They give you 4 motors. So this kit only comes with 4, not 6 like the QX90. And this is the same charging cable that came in the QX90, along with the same carbon fiber propeller changer. Looks like you get the same camera and all-in-one VTX camera combo, but it looks like they are sending the antenna straight back off of the connector on the top there instead of pointing it up, which is different. Interesting. You get the two same 600 milliamp hour batteries, 1S with the micro low-C connector that came with. This is also what came with the QX90. This is the FrSky receiver, and it looks like this also is going to require soldering. The connectors, it's got the heat shrink, so this is basically completely bare. And this is the frame itself with the grommets. This is a square frame with a center pod. I will go ahead and assemble this right now. Okay, I forgot to go over the manual here, and actually it comes with some pretty good instructions and some color photos here on what all the parts are and how they solder the connections, and everything looks fairly accurate. Here's the back side, and as you can see, it shows you the frame already assembled, but it doesn't show you how to actually assemble the frame, so I'm just going to quickly show you how to do that. Basically, there's going to be the 4 sides with the 4 walls, and there's going to be two kinds of pieces here. One with the notch. This out of the way. See that? There's a notch here that goes below the motor area, and then there's another notch here on this other one where it's under the foot, and these actually lock into each other. Now, I've been finding out and trying to put this one together like this, and it's an extremely tight fit. Probably gonna have to hammer these together, and you're gonna have to be careful not to break it if you're gonna use a tool. What I probably need to do is go in here and file or sand down these grooves so that they slide in better. And then this center section is going to go into these slots here. So I actually already filed this down, these edges here, and let's see if it fits any better. That's still really tight, so I'm gonna have to do some more filing, it looks like. Okay guys, if you're having a little bit of trouble getting these pieces to snap together, here's a little tip. I use a pair of these little needle pliers here and just squeeze them together, and that seemed to work. See if I can do another one here. These are really tight and don't want to go together. Okay, see, usually you can get about that far. And you just try and use these pliers to squeeze them together. So they should be pretty close together like that. And that one's a little bit off, so I'm going to try and squeeze a little bit more, but that's probably the best that you can do. Alright, let's get the rest of this frame together. Okay guys, I got the frame assembled and it was not easy to do. I think the best way to approach it is to snap all the sides together and get them locked in, and then try and manage to snap in the centerpiece, and you gotta like sort of spread apart the sides, and actually they didn't even snap in all the way. They're still like, it's still like bowed. I don't know if you can see that. There's a bow to the sides there because these holes are not big enough to fit these pieces in correctly. However, it's in there pretty good, and I can't even twist this. It's fairly rigid, so I'm going to leave it as is and just go ahead and finish the rest of this build. But I'd probably try and file out these holes a little bit more if you want to get these pieces to fit without the sides bowing. Just a little tip. I think the next step is just going to be putting in the grommets here for the motors. I'll do that. I'll be right back. Okay guys, so the grommets are in. They're actually pretty easy to put in. Just stick them in, and there's just four little hooks in there, and I'll just hold them in place. And the pressure of the motor, or the tension, will actually hold the motor in there. So I'm gonna start on the putting the receiver together. Obviously this kit's going to require a fair amount of soldering, so if you aren't confident in your ability to solder some really small connectors, I would recommend not getting this kit, because it's I'd rather, you should probably get the Tiny QX80 instead, because it's already assembled. This is going to be a fair amount of work to get this all together. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get the receiver and the flight controller together. Something I noticed here that's different about this kit is that this one comes with the new version 2.0 of the F3 Evo brush board. And I was like, well, what's 2.0? And it's really obvious back here. There are now, you can see 6 FETs. And let me get this out of the bag. Okay, so this is what it looks like. You get 6 FETs, and this is the new F3 board for 6 motors, so you can do a hexacopter. So I'm actually not going to elect to not use this board with this model. It only uses 4 motors, and I can use the older version. I guess this is version 1.0. It comes with 4 FETs. And I actually happen to have an extra one of these, so I'm going to use this one with this kit, and I'm going to use this 6 FET hexacopter F3 brush board with voila, a little hexacopter frame that I got from Banggood, the Lantian something, I don't know what it's called exactly, but it's perfect. So this will be the next build coming up on my channel. Preview. Anyway, so I was a little surprised that the Tiny QX80 is now coming with this board. Maybe they're just swapped out all the old boards for the new boards, and this is what you're gonna get. So I'm not sure if you're gonna actually get this board if you get the Tiny QX80 or not. They do obviously sell this separately. I think it's like $17 or $18. So I actually have another one on the way. But just wanted to let you guys know that this was coming in the Tiny QX80 kit, which is amazing. Okay, so we'll look at the receiver first, and it comes with some heat shrink and these 3 little wires right there, orange, yellow, and purple. And you can elect to do either the S-Bus or the PPM, and it's clearly labeled there. The top row is S-Bus and the bottom row is PPM, and the signal is on the right, the positive is in the middle, and the ground is right under there under the under the negative sign. I think A1 and A2 is some sort of battery voltage telemetry or something like that, but it's not documented as to what that does exactly. So all you need are the 3 pins here on the top row and on the right. So I'm going to solder in our wires here, and then I'm going to solder in the appropriate connections to UART2 over here. It's not this bottom row, but this second row right here. And in the instructions, here we go, it shows you exactly how everything should be wired. So I'm going to go ahead and solder all this stuff off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I got a bunch of soldering done, and I attached my 3 wires here to the receiver. Got signal, 5 volts, and ground. It's going to UART2 on this board, and that would be the signals over here. I'm sorry, this is the ground over here on the left, and then the 5 volts, and then the signal over here on the right. That's the receive on UART2. Did a few other things. I attached the micro-LoC connector along with this 1.25 millimeter JST connector that I typically do for a lot of my builds. And in the instructions for this particular build, it tells you to just connect the camera directly to that point there where the battery lead connects. However, I like to have the ability to disconnect the camera if I need to. So I've just attached the connector here, and then the corresponding other side on this wire over here. I just heat shrink that. So now I have the ability to remove this camera if I need to. And the other thing that I did was tinned up the pads for the motor wires. So for the 4 motors, they're going to be soldered on here. I've already tinned those on. So I can go ahead and I can mount my flight controller into the frame, put in my motors, and I can go ahead and solder the motors on, and just about there. So probably about halfway done now. And I'll go ahead and I'll mount my flight controller, put my motors in, solder them on, and I will be right back. Okay guys, I've got the motors mounted, I got my flight controller mounted, I got my receiver mounted, and have the motor wires soldered in. So I think we're good to go to install the FPV system, get this configured, and give it a fly. So I'm gonna put the battery on the bottom here with some dual lock like I usually do, and battery just goes like that. We have to hook up the FPV camera over here in the front, so you should keep that in mind that it's not symmetrical. There's these little hooks here for the rubber bands, so you need to put the flight controller in the back here, and put the camera up in front, or well, I guess this is the front because the hooks are there. And so knowing that, you should be aware of how you orient the board and have motor 1 there and motor 2 there, so you know which way is forward. So go ahead and I'll put the camera on here. I'm probably going to put a little bit of foam underneath here and give it a little bit of an angle, because I like a little bit of up tilt, so I can go a little faster. And let me do that, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I got the camera installed, I just had a little bit of this extra foam sitting around. I just stuck it on there. It's not really, I should probably double side foam tape this. It's not really that secure. I'm just using the rubber band that was supplied with the kit. Hook it on there, through there, and on the other side. I did bend up the antenna a little bit so that it's not rubbing against the receiver. I forgot to heat shrink this, and I don't think it's going to be a problem, but I think I might put a piece of electrical tape over here. I don't want anything shorting from the antenna accidentally hitting the receiver. So I'm going to do that and put the props on and connect the battery and fire it up. I think I'm just about done here. Okay guys, here it is all done, and got the props on, and it's a pretty close fit here, especially right here on this prop. You gotta be careful about the video transmitter antenna getting too close, and it looks like it's okay. It's like we don't have any contact there. The other ones aren't really that close. You do have to bend up the antenna to avoid the back props. And over here it looks okay. And over here it's, yeah, it just barely clears that one right there as well. So let's see. What am I touching here? Yeah, actually I need to bend this more towards the center. So it is touching there. Luckily it is, whatever this coax is, it holds its shape pretty good, but it does bend. And this one looks still hitting there, so that's it. Bend it some more. Get out of the way. It's a little tricky getting this antenna out of the way of these props, because you can see they're very close to each other in the side and in the front there. It's not much room, so that's okay. Alright, that's good. And this one, it's good. That's good. So yeah, it's going to be tricky fiddling around with this antenna. I may want to switch the antenna to a linear antenna just to make things a little easier. Because when you're flying and you got like these propellers spinning and this thing sliding around, it could easily cause a crash. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. Let's see how much this thing weighs. Just a little over 40.3 grams. And then this is the 600 milliamp hour battery that it comes with, so let's throw that on there and the quad together. And we're at about 55.5 grams, so not bad. Let's see what the power's like. Anyway guys, that's the end of the build video. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.